The horn in my Miata sounds, well, not great. So let's try to remedy that issue. I bought the Hella Supertone pair of horns right here. In the box we get 2 horns and a relay, and regrettably, no instructions. So, let's try to see if we can figure this out. Shouldn't be too hard. Basically, instead of tapping the original wiring for the horn, because we have 2 of them, it's drawing more power, we're just going to control that with the relay and then pull power from somewhere else, run it through the 2 horns in parallel, and hope nothing catches on fire. So to do this, we're going to need some wire. We're going to need a bunch of these little slide-on connectors, if the camera will focus. A couple of those, and then we're also going to need a handful of these for attaching to bolts and stuff for ground points. Folks, it's sort of raining on and off right now, and I don't want to risk getting the camera wet, so just bear with me. We're going to go with the cell phone footage today. So first off, let's start by disconnecting one of the terminals on our battery, making sure that's dead. And then let's go ahead and hop up front. We're going to need to get the front bumper cover off of this thing. To get the front bumper cover off, you have to remove the little fender liner on each side. Get the light over here. So you got 3 clips, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 screws underneath. Those are 8mm with a little Phillips in the middle, so you can use either to remove them. And then for these, what you're supposed to do is put a little Phillips in and loosen them up, and they should pop out, but that never seems to actually work for me, so I usually just grab one of these, put it under, and then just wiggle it until it eventually just pops itself out. And then over here we'll need to remove this screw, this one, and this one, as well as let up all the plastic retention tabs down here. There'll be 3 along the bottom, and then 2 on the upper side of the smile down there. I forgot to mention the bolt up here. That's very important. Once you have the fender flares up, there's a 10mm bolt right here that you need to take out. And with those out, we should be able to gently lift the front bumper cover off. I'm going to use both hands for this. So now that we have the front bumper cover off, we can see the original horn here, which we'll be removing. We'll need to find a place to stick both of these. So what I've read is that people use these 2 bolts here by the hood release. So we'll try that out. And then we'll be pulling our power from up here in this little fuse box. That bolt right there should have 12 volts coming off of it for us to tap. I had heard someone say that they put it on either side of the hood latch here, but there's just physically not space for it. So we're going to have to go to plan B here. So I'm going to attach it using the original horn bracket. And I'm going to attach the ground wire right here, so I'll go do that real quick. It looks like I'm only going to get 1 horn in today. It's not exactly what I wanted, but in the words of great scholar and renowned Emmy Award winner Obi-Wan Kenobi, it do be like that sometimes. So I'm going to hunt down a second one of these horn brackets, and in the meantime we're going to go ahead and install the horn on the passenger side, and I'll wire it up for both sides so that when I get the bracket I won't have to take everything back off, and I can hopefully just drop the new horn in. So to that end right here, I've spliced this together. This will be the ground wire for the one horn. It'll go from the clip on the horn to the bolt on the metal bracket for ground. And here's what that looks like put together. Not the most robust solution, but then again, maybe it doesn't need to be. So that's grounded this horn, and then off of this contact here we'll have 2 wires coming out, one going to the power in and the other for the other horn to daisy chain off, and that other one will just be disconnected until I get the other one mounted. And here that is. So we've got 2 wires coming off of the positive. This will daisy chain to the other horn, and I've got it capped off now so it can't brush against the bodywork and cause issues. And then this longer lead will go back to the relay. Now, if you're not familiar with relays, you can basically think of them like a little electronic light switch. So we have 4 pins on the back here, and they do include a little diagram on the side. So how this works is you can see that 85 to 86, that's our control. And that controls the switch here going between 30 and 87. And then those numbers labeled there correspond with the labels embossed onto the back here alongside the pins. So if we reference the diagram again, we see that 85, that's going to be the signal from the original horn, and then 86 will have that go to ground. And then 30, that's going to be 12 volts coming in, and then 87 is going to be the higher current signal wire going out to the horn. I've got our main power hooked up. It's coming from out of here, going into pin number 30 on the relay. Let's get the ground going next. Now I have ground going to pin number 86. Up next, we will have the signal coming in from the original horn. Down here I've just spliced it onto the original cord. This is what originally went to the horn. So I've just spliced those together using a butt connector. That's gone into number 85, and then our last connection is the output to the horn going into 87 over here. That's all hooked up now, so let's go reconnect the battery and test it, make sure nothing catches on fire. Alright, battery's back on, moment of truth. Nope, nothing. Okay, yeah, it was just the door was open. Cool, so that is working. I drilled out the hole in the relay a little bit to give me more room to work with, and just attached it right there. I'll clean up some of these cords with zip ties and we'll get the car put back together. There we go, I got it all picked up. So I'm just leaving this little loop here. We'll come back and hook up the second horn whenever I get a mounting bracket for it. And here we are a few weeks later with two hands-free this time, a second mounting bracket, and a minor correction. At the beginning of the video I said that this did not have instructions, but on the outside there is actually a little diagram provided, so thank you, Hella. Let's go get this wrapped up. Now if my brilliant scheme has worked, we should be able to just drop this in without having to go through taking the bumper back off again. Get all these tools on stuff from my pocket here. Alright, let's get that out of there. There we are. She plugged in here. There we go. If you're wondering where this bolt looks weird, that's the only thing I could find at Menards. I ordered some bolts that'll match the other ones, and I'll swap that out whenever they come in. There we go. Let's try it out. Whoa! Yep, that's louder. Ooh boy. Alright. Let's back up and hear that one more time. That is way, way louder. Okay. Well, there we have it. New horns upgrade. Don't know how to wrap this up. There's new horns. The end.
Alright, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. See you guys in the next one.